Covered overtime. Ouchie, baby. Are you looking at Facebook?
I can.
Oh, that would be great. Our live chat is up and cooking. We had a lot going on. Jesse Waters pulled us into his world, and then President Obama pulled us into his world.
This is the third time I've been asked to do Outnumbered, and this is now a record. 3 times in a row I've been bumped by President Obama, breaking news.
I think it's
the last 3 times I've come sat on this couch. At least I got 10 minutes. The last time I just sat here all dressed up with nowhere to go.
Did you call the president?
Yeah, I couldn't get through to him. I had to call Greg Norman.
So,
you know, this is a news hour. We have to cover the
Jesse,
news.
you know how Democrats get on the phone call every morning to get our talking points and figure out who our enemies list are?
Yes, am I on the list?
It's not a coincidence that he bumps you every time you're on the phone.
That's right.
All right. So we were talking about some of the changes as they were streaming in and out of Trump Tower today. So we're going to get some of those cabinet picks for sure confirmed. We already know that. Kevin Dubuque writes on the live chat, who will the contracts be with the people on his team if they can't be lobbyists for 5 years? Because they're draining the swamp, so to speak, with these lobbyists. So how are they going to get around that?
Well, I want to be clear on something just to follow up on what Meghan said. I actually am happy that he's meeting with Henry Kissinger. I think it's a very good suggestion for him to meet with Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger knows what he's talking about. But I want to be clear intellectually that if you're meeting with Henry Kissinger and you're saying that you want to drain the swamp, Henry Kissinger makes more money trading on the fact that he was Secretary of State and makes more money off of foreign governments as part of Kissinger Associates than probably anybody else. There's no problem with him meeting with Kissinger. Are you
saying that Henry Kissinger is a dishonest broker when he's having discussions with the president-elect and he's trying to enrich himself and his company as a result of that conversation?
May I ask you a question? Answer
the question. That's a strong allegation to make against Henry Kissinger.
It's not an allegation. I'm simply saying that he has clients. He has to represent the interests of those clients. The same reason that people may not want lobbyists.
He is a brilliant man, and America's still lucky to have him.
It's not a disagreement.
No, he is a brilliant man. He's one of like 7 people that make me feel very safe in this country. And again, I don't know enough about his dealings. I just know foreign policy-wise the advice he gives senators and congressmen, and I think on one side you can't say Donald Trump isn't meeting with foreign leaders, and then on the other criticize the foreign leaders that he's meeting with, or foreign experts that he's meeting with at the same time. And again, I just find all of this not. I just wish Democrats in the same way, because again, I was someone who didn't support Trump the entire time. I am giving him a chance. I gave President Obama a chance, and I full-blown
as an American citizen, that's sort of what we're supposed to do.
I believe that we were electing a radical on election night, and Democrats are not giving Donald Trump the same respect I gave President Obama.
Well, I will say this. I am more than happy to give him a chance, and I was willing to do that until the introduction of Steve Bannon, and that's when I realized this is not a man who wants to bring America together. And as somebody of...
He's not the president, though, okay? So just because you don't like a member of his team,
Sandra,
then you're not going to support the president.
On Reince Priebus.
You can't, yeah, great, but you can't put a white supremacist next door to you.
He's not a white supremacist.
Yes, he is. My goodness.
How is he a white supremacist?
Look at the stuff that Breitbart has published about African Americans, about women, against
What have they published?
Against Jews. I'll send you a list. I'll tweet it out. How about the fact that his wife testified under oath that he didn't want to send his daughter
wait a second.
to school?
You just made a claim that they've published racist and anti-Semitic things on Breitbart. What are those?
They have. How about calling Bill
What
Kristol?
Are those?
Calling Bill Kristol a renegade Jew. How about that?
Who said that?
Breitbart.
Andrew Breitbart.
No, not Andrew Breitbart. Breitbart under Steve Bannon published a story calling Bill Kristol a renegade Jew. Are you comfortable with that?
Can I tell you one piece of advice?
I've never heard that. I don't know if I actually believe
you asked me because I'll send it to you. You asked me an example. I just gave it to you.
I want to interject just one moment, because the first piece of advice I would give Donald Trump, because there is a lot of rumblings that the people he keeps around him are anti-Semitic. It's something that's very big on the internet. His daughter and his son-in-law, whom he is going to put on his staff to get security clearance, that's how much he trusts their judgment. Why don't you have a party with them for Rosh Hashanah or Hanukkah and say, I respect the Jewish religion. This has nothing to do with me and my administration. His daughter and his son-in-law are Jewish.
And the top 3 editors at Breitbart.com are Jewish. I don't understand where you're getting this from.
Ask Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro quit for that reason.
I would say that, and Sandra hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
This person is not.
Check out what he wrote.
Okay. This person is not the president. But I would say this: when you're looking at someone pull their resources together, what you don't want to do is have to explain somebody. So my big question then would be for President-elect Donald Trump. Is it worth the explanation that you're going to have to continually give the parties at the House, whatever it's going to be, to make this a great fit? Is it worth forth all of that? I don't know what the answer is, but that is a question that I would ask.
I believe this is a story in Washington, D.C. and New York City in media circles. I don't think anybody across the country knows who Bannon is, cares who Bannon is, and they're just looking forward to getting more money in their paycheck.
You want to put
one more thing on this.
He was a character on South Park last night, so clearly he's got it has reached different levels.
If they want to play the race card and that's the only card they have left after losing this badly, let them keep playing it. I think it's going to blow up in your face. And I'd also say one more thing. To really complain about minor things like this, I would say save your outrage for when the wall gets built.
All right, I'll give you another one. I'll give you another one. Yesterday at Meghan Kelly's show, a surrogate for Donald Trump came out and said that there's precedent for registering Muslims and analogized it to Japanese internment camps. Are you comfortable with that?
You know what I'm not comfortable with? Michelle Obama talking about Americans clinging to God and guns, which, by the way, I am proud to do, and liberals telling me to get over that for a long time and then usher that in. I gave President Obama a chance. My father lost to him. I believed he was a radical. All of these Democrats are being wildly disrespectful to our new president. Give him a chance.
Now, based on that, actually, I have to step back for just a second because you're talking about race. Jewish is not a race. It's a culture.
Right.
Which is
why
she
also said white nationalist.
Which is why...
Religion.
Actually, she didn't. She said supremacist. No, nationalist is what's being written about him.
So she
what
said
Julie
white
did
supremacist.
Was up the ante.
I'll give you another example. There's a Breitbart headline saying women who take birth control are crazy and ugly. You comfortable with that?
I think it's important. I think that what you're talking about are differences, and that's fine.
It's not differences.
But for the simple fact that his wife can convert, it is a cultural difference and not a racial one. I do want to get this in. Silver Money Man says, I was disappointed that Obama nor Hillary said anything about the protesters creating violence. I thought they both should have tried to calm the country down. Fine to protest, not fine to break and burn things. So the president was asked about that during the news conference, the bilateral news conference with Germany's chancellor today. How'd he do?
I think he whiffed. I think that was a great opportunity to bring the country together and tell these idiots to knock it off. The problem there is that the Democratic Party likes to keep certain interest groups angry and aggrieved because with that aggrievement, they become mobilized, they continue to be activists, they continue to make noise, and they continue to vote for Democrats. If you don't have a big angry populist out there with pitchforks and rabble-rousing with people, you have a very, very calm population that doesn't turn out to vote for Democrats.
But they like the fear and anger because they're going to need it in the midterm elections, which is why they're going to keep stoking these fires.
I'm sorry.
They do. They like it. They don't want this to stop because as long as Republicans are evil, and I pointed out that part of the problem why you guys lost is every single Republican is a Nazi. I put it on my Instagram, a picture of the last 5 Republican candidates that were painted as being Nazis in the media. So if every Republican's a Nazi and we're all bad, there's no way to combat anything, and they like the fear because they're going to need it in the midterm election.
Let me just speak for when you say they, I guess you're talking about me. So let me just say this.
We're talking about liberals.
Well, I am a liberal, so you're talking about me. So let me just say this. When you have somebody, and I'll use the Meghan example again, going on Meghan Kelly's show yesterday, she was right to call this guy out and saying that there's a precedent for registering Muslims because we did it to the Japanese during World War II. That's not me getting angry for electoral reasons.
That was Carl Higbie, by the way.
That's right. That's not me getting, thank you. That's not me getting angry for electoral reasons. That's me getting angry as a Jew whose family came from the Soviet Union, whose family had to wear yellow stars in Eastern Europe and Western Europe during Nazi occupation. And there's no way in hell that I'm going to sit here and not get angry about somebody suggesting something very similar in the White House.
It's not going to happen. The guy's
really?
Not a
they just
real
said that
advisor,
yesterday.
And they already condemned it. Will you condemn all the violence going on?
Yes, I did. And in fact, I did that the first night on Meghan's show.
Okay, so why haven't leaders in your own party condemned it?
Hold on. Speaking of leaders in your own party, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer meeting with Mike Pence.
Right.
How's that going to go? Is that sort of the last hope for Democrats and Republicans to get along?
Listen, there are issues, for example, Donald Trump said that he wants a big stimulus plan. He wants an infrastructure, billions of dollars in infrastructure. Great. I think Democrats should get behind him. I don't think you should oppose him in everything he does. If Republicans in Congress want to join Democrats and President-elect Trump to spend billions on infrastructure and get behind that proposal, I'm all for it. Some people,
stuff you can work on with trade.
Some people agree on trade. I happen to not necessarily be one of those people, but if there are Democrats like Bernie Sanders who agree with him on trade.
But seriously, what do you think that meeting is like, though, Schumer with
Pence? Look, Pence served in the House, so this is not somebody who's an anomaly to Chuck Schumer. They all know each other. I suspect he's got a good relationship with people like your father.
Do you think he and Donald Trump have a wonderful friendship ahead of them?
I think Chuck Schumer is savvy enough to, and I said this, I think, Meghan, you weren't here when I said it, but I think Chuck Schumer would be wise to reach out to John McCain and to people like John McCain and to Lindsey Graham and to others and find common ground, especially on foreign policy.
Wouldn't the irony be if we saw more of this reaching across the aisle, because we have to now, that there is not that encampment that everybody can go to, that everybody can go to that's based on establishment any longer? Everybody's in the middle of the room. What do you do at a cocktail party? You talk to the cuteness next to you. You talk to the smartness next to you. You do whatever.
I talked to the guy or gal that nobody's talking to.
But you get my point. It's now they're forced to talk to each other. Nobody's entrenched with lobbyists. Wouldn't it be interesting if it worked? I'm just asking.
Okay.
A record 11,000 on our live chat today.
Yes. Right? I'll take full credit.
There you go. Good to have you.
Jesse.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.